that you would.
Sorry, sir.
Hello? Are y'all able to hear me?
So you were saying something?
Oh, no, I got it. I just wanted to make sure y'all were able to hear me. And
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Mehdi, I think we can let everyone in.
so are y'all waiting on me?
So we are just waiting for the participants to join. We'll start in a minute.
Okay.
Hi, Mr. Paul.
Hi.
I'm Rakhi Sharma. I'm the faculty, and thank you for. I know the timings are a little different, but I'm extremely thankful to you for accepting our invite. And it'll just take few more minutes because the previous session just got ended, and they are logging out and logging in. So maybe the next 2 minutes, sir, we will start. Is that fine?
Yeah, that's fine. I have our little one I got to take to school at about 6:45 here. Yeah, that's always rambunctious. So I had to go somewhere where you couldn't really hear or see me.
Okay. So you want us to begin right away? Shall we begin?
It's all to you.
Okay.
It's all up to you.
Yeah. So Ashna, I think we can begin. In the meantime, I think we've got enough people. Let's start. Yeah.
Sure.
Can you change the slide, please? Welcome everyone to the Jai Hind College Autonomous Global Entrepreneurship Summit 2022. Presented by HDFC Bank, powered by Bright Outdoor Media Private Limited, co-sponsored by Bagot, in association with Plum Body Loving, trading partner Havenspire, home decor partner Vipul Homes, news and media partner The Education Tree, in association with Digital India, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, National E-Governance Division, Make in India, Skill India, Maharashtra State Innovation Society, Startup India, AWS Activate, Enactus, Mumbai Angels Network, Inflection Point Ventures, TIE Mumbai, and Vadhwani Foundation. I'd now like to invite Tisha Bukadia to introduce the session.
Thank you so much, Nandika. Moving forward, I would like to now introduce our guest speaker for today's session, Mr. Paul Gunn Jr. He's currently the Chief Executive Officer of KUOG Corporation, with a demonstrated history of working in the defense and space industry. He's a business development professional, skilled in operations management, analytical skills, sales management, and team building. He has delivered excellence in procurement consulting and product delivery for global organizations, leading cross-functional teams in Asia, Europe, Middle East, and America. He's also been the Executive Vice President of Gideon Services and helped in getting it listed on Inc. 500. Apart from this, he's also a USA Today and Wall Street Journal best-selling author. Today, he's going to be talking about supply chain management and empathy. Firstly, I would like to thank you, sir, for conducting this session because we know that you're in the USA and it's a huge time difference and it's almost around 6 a.m. in the morning there. And I would like to start with this quote. The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire. Over to you, Mehdi, for screen sharing.
Well, I appreciate you all having me here and taking this time. I did want to talk to you all about supply chain and the importance of it. I feel like we all are in supply chain, and many of us can feel the effects of both the good and bad of supply chain. And one of the quotes from Sun Tzu here is the line between disorder and order lies in logistics. So part of this, to me, is seeing when things don't necessarily go right, and when you need to get your groceries or stuff being stocked at the retail stores or grocery stores, that is an effect of supply chain and how well and effective people have been able to share links and developed great processes and procedures. And for those who may not know necessarily what supply chain management is, it is essentially the production and management of the flow and goods of services and the raw materials to get an end product or solution to a customer. And then it's been very successful and instrumental in my line of success in being able to develop relationships. I feel that is inherently needed to be able to succeed in supply chain. And to give you an example, if you have one link broken in the supply chain, it becomes very difficult to do what you need to succeed. And it is critical for being able to share your information up and down the supply chain. And much of that comes from being able to share information. There's a lot of technology and data being utilized right now to disrupt the supply chain to make it more effective. And I feel a lot of youth and young entrepreneurs or former alumni, if you're in corporate right now, seeing what can be done to help assist improve the supply chains, there is a lot of room for opportunity. And that would be a recommendation. If I was back coming out of school right now, I would be looking at how companies are weathering this storm right now and what technology or what better ways can I improve the disruption that's happening in supply chain. It's a wonderful career to be in and a wonderful industry to be in. Initially, I didn't set out to get into supply chain. My initial major was wanting to go to be a doctor, and I wound up finding this through being able to support my brother when he was returning from the military, and being able to make an impact in supply chain. If you're very analytical and you have a thirst for learning, coupled with utilizing technology, there's room to make an impact. And if I was coming out of school right now, part of what I would do would be looking into one, maybe working for somebody else in the interim, but also in the evening and in the daytime with my spare time, seeking to build relationships on the side that could foster an opportunity in supply chain. For example, I worked at a previous company before I initially started getting into supply chain, and I was able to see how these different organizations were working and build a relationship in the process. And in doing that, there was a very popular game system in the 2000s that many may have used or are utilizing now. And I was able to see how they bought, why it was so critical for this information and technology to be shared up and down the supply chain. And once this buyer was able to see how I was interacting and helping him succeed in his role, he later became a critical reference when I went out and started my own business to be able to leverage that and grow it. And I feel like if you can make those type of connections on the front end in supply chain and keep them, you'll be better suited to create business opportunities going forward. For example, there's opportunities such as being a broker or exporter, and that is something you may be able to do while working at another job. If you have relationships now, people are trying to get stuff out of other countries, they're trying to get them into other countries, and making connections on LinkedIn or the different social media sites, you can be shoring up your relationships that if you started a business such as brokering or importer or exporter, it's time consuming, but you can get your foot in the door, and all businesses, whether it's tech or data, are feeling this pinch and can utilize that critical need in the supply chain. And I feel like also with empathy, when you look internally, all companies will have or seem to show a focus for supply chain. And when you look at your internal process for having empathy inside your own company to consider you're an effective piece to somebody else's supply chain, you're taking on what either their order may be or an integral part in their process. And that can become an ally for them being able to succeed also with you seeking to succeed in your own business. And I feel this supply chain disruption has decimated a lot of companies and a lot of the way things move across the world. And if you have an idea, it doesn't restrict you from being able to look at it and improve and make connections with those that are having issues right now and can get funding behind to make improvements. So I feel this is an excellent opportunity for youth to be able to kind of leverage their brain power from all the new technology and skill sets that they're having and come make an impact in an industry and in a situation right now that is looking to change its methodologies and improve going forward.
So I
And
had
this,
a question.
sure.
You had shared a PPT with us, so when do you want us to share the slides?
Sure, you can share them anytime.
We'll share the slides right now, the ones you shared.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Mehdi, please screen share. Mehdi.
Yes.
Is it shared?
For just a minute, he's sharing.
Okay.
Mr. Paul, you can continue with the session. In the meantime, he will share. Huh?
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. All right. So yeah, as initially was saying, we're, this line between disorder and order lies in between logistics, and I feel anybody can make an impact in this industry. Everything that's being learned. To give you for an example, I had a young student from India when I was on LinkedIn. He had matriculated out into Montreal, and he reaches out to me saying, look, I would like to find a way to get into supply chain, but I don't have any leverage or any understanding. Are you able to assist? So it's like, well, pass me your resume and your history. And I just appreciated how he took the time to say, look, this is where I'm going. I have this technology, but I need to get my foot into the door. I'm inexperienced and don't have the history for this job. So he approached me utilizing this empathy and kindness, and it was well received. So I wound up writing him a letter of recommendation, and 2 or 3 months later, he responds back to me saying, hey, I was able to get this job, and he's making well in his industry, and he's learning, and he's watching, so he can perfect his craft and then release the technology that is being utilized to improve it. So that's essentially what I was talking about in terms of, if you see a way to create an idea, whether it's tech or whether it's to get in this industry with your own business and improve something that you see currently being done, you can shore up some of this disorder that's currently being seen right now in this industry. And that gets to moving and improving the production flow of the goods or services that many had interrupted during the pandemic. I feel we're all working to kind of figure out what works best. How do you localize the supply chain that you have where you are, and then improve how you either export or help it come in to your own locality, so you can improve the well-being of those around you as well as those of others. But this is essentially what supply chain management is. I feel that if you go on most sites about what it is or what it takes to succeed in supply chain, most of it will reference technology, but it will have a heavy portion on building relationships, making connections, and developing those for when things can go wrong. And in supply chain, they often say putting out fires most of the days, and one broken link can mess up this entire supply chain for doing it. And this is, as we were talking earlier, referenced by the grocery stores and the everyday products you see being delayed, short-ended, or going end of life. And being able to have relationships, in my mind, are what are essential for the supply chain links to stay effective and work. It takes connections in your area across the globe to be able to keep things moving when disaster hits in one part of the world, or a pandemic, or just political issues go on where things can't move around. If you have those connections and improvements, or technology for that matter, that can help improve it, you're being able to share this information up and down the supply chain that helps companies. It is a value that many businesses overlook, and I feel that many are starting to become aware of, and there is opportunity if you are developing an idea now or have one for technology, that it can be useful. I've seen certain youth coming out of high-end colleges saying they were going to use their tech in a different area, but they wanted to pivot and utilize it in supply chain. And what they were doing was not only developing technology, but effective technology in the supply chain to get real-time data and improve those information flows, which is so critical for succeeding. So this was part of me wanting to share. If this hasn't been something you considered, it's a viable opportunity to make an impact with your business or any technology or data that you're looking to utilize. And even with all of this technology, having that empathy and kindness in whatever you're doing to approach others and utilize what you see as a benefit can go a long way. I'm receptive, and I'm sure many supply chain professionals and businesses would be receptive to how a new business or a new way of doing things could help them improve their supply chain. Because many supply chain professionals, if you look at some of the reports from last year, it's not near 50% of them that feel comfortable in how sure their supply chains are. So if you have the ability to make and build relationships now that can make an impact, you can certainly work as this slide here shows in any of these different domains. You can work on the enterprise applications, which are critical, how you move the assets during the procurement, how long they stay there, the different strategies and planning that are also critical. And technology does help improve this. Even with all of this, I would still focus on those relationships are key and critical. But in any of these domains where you can see a business case for improvement, many people, if not most businesses, are certainly keeping their eyes open on how to improve it and shore up their supply chain. It's a wonderful field to be in. And I feel like out of this pandemic, if there's ever a time where you can take your knowledge that you're currently learning and make an impact, it is now, because many are looking how they can fix what was broken. And to be frank, people in the profession, even nobody really anticipated the pandemic, and it showed how a supply chain can be broken and messed up real quickly. So if you have a way to come out and impact this right away, it's a great opportunity for you to not necessarily have to wait as long as others in a previous generation, because you would be making impact to help move these supply chains and solidify a process and methodologies for going forward. And that's essentially what I was mentioning before. This isn't restricted to any region or demographic. If you can make those connections on LinkedIn or just in your locality, start getting data for some of the manufacturing firms that are in your locality, or how the ports work. Is this something you can beta test your technology with the local ones, and then reach out to those across the globe, showing how you can help either bring things in or help go out? And one of the methods I used was going into other countries and that are friendly to us, and utilizing, hey, I can help it so that your supply chain cannot tolerate being down for so many hours. Because if it's down 24 hours down and the supply chain is broken, is very critical. You got to move real quickly. Some of the things we deal with, they want an average of a 98% on-time delivery. So that is a clear use of technology and being able to leverage those relationships. So it takes a solidified team to be able to do it. And that is where having this compassion in this supply chain, where you're concerned about yourself, but you're also concerned about the link that you're making to that connection. How is it improving them? How is it helping you? And how is it working to help everyone involved for your success along with their success? And if you keep that position usually on how you can help somebody else in this industry, it makes a big difference. It gets back to what we're saying here. These leaders they want to be able to show up more confidence in their supply chain efficiencies, and showing new tech or new ways to develop relationships or have an ally in a place they never had one before may be the very thing that they're looking for. So this effective use of data in this arena is really what it takes to succeed in supply chain. But I would mention that back again, that relationship is really critical to be able to take this technology and utilize it to succeed. If you're hearing what people in this industry are saying their pain points are, you may be able to use predictive analysis, improve your technology or business to help them succeed along with you succeed. But that comes a lot from hearing and listening and making connections that you can get information for those pain points and make real good use of that information and develop a product or service for it. And as we move forward, I feel many consumers are expecting leaders and companies to not only consider how they can succeed, but how it's impacting those around them and how it's impacting the environment. Like we can make connection with green supply chain, so partners or those who are green manufacturing, or at least working to do it. Your business may not necessarily be in a position to take on green initiatives, but taking on and making links to these green supply chain partners or green partners is making a step in the right direction. This world could use a lot more who are focusing on the environment. And setting up contingency plans. This pandemic is certainly going to show many companies and those in supply chain who may already know it, if they haven't done so already, they are setting up connections around the globe. So if they have a breakdown in their own locality, or they're trying to get something into another country or another region, they're looking for partners globally and locally to hedge those delays. So there's many opportunities for you to get in. And that's where it got back to starting a business, maybe as a broker or an exporter may help, because in that process, you learn how and what they source, what they buy, how they buy it, and it allows you to get an inner view of how that company operates and also forecast what they're getting and where they're needing to get it from. And if you are able to approach them understanding what their purpose is, what their missions are, and how you can help them achieve that, you're starting off on a right foot for making improvements in supply chain. And lastly, I feel it's really important to have this empathy in this line of work, because trust really matters in the supply chain, because you can get a lot further when you approach professionals or this industry or your business as a whole. And the empathy has been critical in my success, because things do happen. You're putting fires out all day, essentially, and without having compassion and kindness to understand where the other person is coming from, where the other company's products or solutions fit in their model, you're setting yourself up to not be the most efficient in that process. So it is very impactful to utilize empathy in those relationships. And then there's a favorite quote of mine here that I often reference, to me, that embodies what really supply chain has meant to me. And that is, you haven't lived today until you've done something for someone else who can never repay you. So oftentimes I'm going in, how can I help someone with this order that it can impact them and help them succeed, even if it never benefits me. Oftentimes it comes back, but many of the times you're looking to make those connections, because they usually will come back around in the most unexpected ways. When things get delayed, we've been in positions before where we haven't been able to get things out or sourced, and we would make a call for somebody we've helped long ago that remembered that, and they were able to utilize their resources to help us get some deliveries in. So I feel if you keep that empathy and kindness along with whatever your business idea is, you can make impact in supply chain.
Thank you so much for the insightful session. So it was very informative. I would like to now invite Arpit Avinandan to give you the formal vote of thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Tisha. Ashna, can you allow me to switch on my camera?
It is allowed.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So on behalf of our principal, faculty, and entrepreneurship cell and skill hub team of Jai Hind College, I would like to extend a hearty gratitude to you, sir, for sharing your knowledge and giving us a new perspective about supply chain management. I'm sure the attendees will implement the knowledge gained and the learnings in their future ventures and will scale their growth. A special thanks to our audience for attending. Your presence has enlightened the session. Thank you once again for being with us. It has remained a pronounced pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Guys, the feedback form has been sent in the chat box. You all can fill in the feedback form from the link provided in the chat box. Whoever's watching from the YouTube live, the feedback form has been put in the comments below. Please make sure you fill the form before you leave the session so we can calculate the number of sessions that you attended. And thank you so much for joining, sir. You can log out now.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
We can stop the recording in live as well.